In fact, for us also it was a very big surprise because all across before the season there was a talk going about the economy is going down, market is bad, and we also didn't know how the consumers will respond. Because in our industry, what matters most is the sentiment of the consumer. And we were a little skeptical that the sentiment doesn't seem to be going positive. But I think it has surprised all of us. We have actually seen a growth which we had not seen for quite some time in the last quarter, especially the season. And more so in the last 2 months. December has been one of our most spectacular month in this year as far as growth is concerned. Another reason could also be because last year, November and December were real good washouts. So if we see growth over last year, it's a high double-digit growth, which we have not seen, I think, in the last 4 years at all. And the major reasons I feel is because a lot of things have happened. Consumer brands have also been very aggressive on marketing, on pricing. Then number two, the cashbacks which were offered by the credit card companies has worked real good in our favor. And the 0% and zero down payment options available to the guests. So now we see overall our 70 to 80% of the sale is happening on the EMIs.
Okay.
So this has actually made buying consumer durable very, very easy for the consumers, and I think that's what they're coming in for.
It's a lot more lucrative, of course, as you said, now with these EMI offers, etc. But I understand that despite the fact that we're talking about the best in 4 years, indications are still that the pre-demonetization levels have not been achieved. So how bad has the ripple effect of that been for the industry, according to you, when it comes to buying sentiment, pricing power, etc.? And when will we be out of the woods completely?
I think looking at this last quarter, I think we are as good as out of the woods.
Okay.
But this coming quarter will actually give us the actual flavor what it is. But going forward, I feel another reason why we have seen a good demand is because the prices have come down, especially in the televisions.
Okay.
The large screen televisions, there's been a very good demand, and primarily because the prices have come down. If you see, we have not seen these prices in the last 4-5 years. They are the lowest ever. Right from a 32-inch available at a 7990 types to 8990, and a 55 at 35 to 40,000 rupees. So I think this also has coupled for the growth. And as far as whether we are out of the woods or not, I think we are more or less, at least consumer durable industry seems to be out of the woods.
Okay. Who better than you to tell us what the actual situation is? Now, when it comes to individual categories, last I read it was that we're seeing the smartphone sales that have been very good, most of the other categories, but television has been lagging behind. Now, all of us have a phone, which is like our 11th finger, and we're tending to, watch the latest serials, etc. on the television screens. Are you sensing some sort of a shift in trend there?
See, what has happened is there's no doubt that a lot of people are watching mobile televisions on mobile, the programs on mobile. But I feel it is added on to the sales. It's helped to the sales of the mobiles, of the televisions. For the simple reason is, you see the content which is available. It was not available 2 years back. All of them have OTP channels, programs, and all are web series.
Yeah.
So what happens is, the moment he's traveling, a consumer is traveling, he's watching on the mobile. But the moment he reaches home, he wants to see the content on the last screen. So what we have seen is a huge growth in 43, 55 and 65-inch televisions. In fact, even 75 inches, which earlier rarely used to sell, have started selling on a normal basis.
Okay. When it comes to the rural sales, tier 2, tier 3 growth as well, how has sentiment been there? Because now everyone's talking about these green shoots of recovery. Is that actually being felt?
In fact, although we are not much present in the rural areas, but the feedback which I'm getting from the market is quite positive. So there also, and secondly, mobile has led the way. Because even in the rural, I think nobody can live without mobiles, and everybody's moving on to the smartphones.
Yeah. Give us a sense as to, we've seen the consumers, they have been downtrading over the past couple of quarters as well. Has this trend continued into this quarter?
In fact, this quarter we saw a little shift.
Okay.
People have upgraded themselves. Very few are upgrading on the brand side, but they're definitely upgrading on the capacity or the size side. In mobiles, we are seeing a different trend altogether. People want more capacity, more RAMs. So they are always within the brand also, they are upgrading for a next level. So I think that's one of the also reasons why I feel the consumer durable electronics seems to be out of the wood, because people have once again started upgrading.
Okay. In terms of how these past few months has been, you have seen a single-digit growth. Going forward, do you think that we will continue to see a pickup, that the real test will be when we see the overall festive sales play out, double-digit growth as well as on the anvil?
I think going forward, this quarter is going to be very crucial. And secondly, another aspect which is very important for our industry is the climatic
Yes.
conditions.
You were saying that
Exactly.
yeah,
So like
air
this
coolers.
year, North had a very
Yeah.
severe cold.
Yeah.
So we saw total washout, total sales out of all the room heaters, including the expensive ones.
Okay.
So in case we have a good summer, then I think the air conditioners and the refrigerators will also fuel the double-digit growth which we are expecting and hoping to happen.
So at a time like this, we've seen a lot of these players come out with very lucrative offers. The competition as well is very stiff. Is there an issue when it comes to the pricing power?
No, I don't think so. In fact, on the contrary, in the case of our industry, everybody wants to sell more.
Okay.
So they are normally everybody is working on a very wafer thin margins. So yes, pricing is going to play an important role. And I think already the air conditioning companies have already started going aggressive.
Okay. One can't deny though, Mr. Gupta, that with portals like Amazon and Flipkart, everything is available at the click of a button. Are you not worried that that is going to eat into the overall market share? It's going to, pose a big threat for players such as you?
In fact, on a similar account, I had asked when I met PVR seniors, are they not afraid of this?
Yeah,
they say on the
OTT.
contrary, it helps us to grow because people get more hooked onto the content. Similarly, what I feel is the online portals are also helping the industry to grow because they're making people buy products at a faster pace, replace at a faster pace. So today what we see is television which earlier people used to replace once in 6-7 years, they are okay to replace in once in 3 to 4 years. So I think they have increased the consumption also. And they are here to stay. So they will also be one of the part of this industry. And some days they would do very well. Some days offline would do very well. Overall, there are going to be consumers who want to buy both online as well as offline.
Okay. Although we are seeing the stock markets at all-time highs, somehow one is feeling that, at the ground level, that feel-good factor is sort of just missing. People aren't going out there and buying full throttle, if you will. That sentiment hasn't really changed. What is your experience? Do you think that, when we were talking about words like a slowdown, liquidity crunch, squeeze, that now the consumption story is starting to look a whole lot better?
In fact, that's what I had initially also said. In our industry, sentiment plays an important role. So what we are feeling is if the sentiment is not so upbeat, and this is the growth which we are seeing. So once if the sentiments turn around, then I think we can see a high double-digit growth also.
Okay.
So it's very important for the sentiments to turn around. So I think apart from the stock market, it's the reports which come in. Okay, yes, things are turning around, the economy is doing well. That is what supports us more for the sales. So it's a vicious circle. Positive report, positive sales automatically lead to positive results.
Another favorable factor was, of course, what we saw, the corporate tax cut. Any expectations from the budget? How did that really change sentiment on ground?
In fact, that did change slightly, but this budget we expect if they do on a personal front also income tax cut, I think that will make a lot of difference.
Yeah, that certainly will, and fingers are certainly being crossed. Mr. Gupta, I mean, you're entrenched in this business so well. I'm just curious. Tell us a little bit about the trends that you're seeing. What is the older generation veering towards? Are millennials now, seeing a lot more power in their hands, spending power more from the millennials? What are people buying today?
See, what I'm seeing the major shift in consumer buying, and especially in the millennials, is millennials are not so brand conscious.
Okay.
They are more, they understand the product, they study the product, and if they find more value in something and it may not be a very high brand, they are okay to buy that. Which was not the case a decade back, where people used to say, I don't know, I don't mind paying super premium,
but I want
a brand. So that's, I think, one major shift which is happening. And that's why we have seen the rise of the new brands which have come in.
Okay.
All of a sudden. Otherwise, within 3 to 4 years, a brand comes and reaches such height, would not have been possible earlier. So this is a major thing, major trend which we are seeing. Secondly, nobody is shying away from buying on EMI.
Yes.
You take a decade back, people, even if they were buying on EMI, they would not tell their friends and families that they bought on EMI. Today, if somebody is paying upfront cash, and if I see his friend or a family has accompanied him. He's saying, "Are you mad? Why are you not going on
Yeah.
EMI?"
Yeah.
So I think that's another shift, and because of this shift, they're buying more.
Okay.
Because if they could buy with 100 rupees,
But what
X amount.
are they buying now? Is there some sort of a particular trend in terms of which are the categories that are doing well?
So what is happening is they're upgrading.
Okay.
When they're buying more, I mean they're spending more value. So if they had come to buy a 43-inch television, they don't mind buying 55 because they're okay. On an EMI, it's only a 2,000 rupees difference.
Got it.
So that's where the major shift which we are seeing is happening. And that's why over a period of time, consumer durable industry has been more or less stable
Yeah.
because of these 2-3 factors.